Everyone, good afternoon. It's Renee Tompkins here today with Lair Realty Partners for another social media masterclass. On today's agenda, we will be talking about 5 video ideas to win more listings. I think everybody could not say that more listings would hurt their business. Second thing we'll be discussing is the success magnet bio. I see a lot of bios out there, mostly on Instagram, sometimes on Facebook, professional pages, and it's never really clear where the agents do business, who their brokerage is, why someone should do business with them. So we'll get into that. Excuse me. Also, 10 perfect posts for starting your Instagram. A couple of you have reached out to me asking for input on how to really get going on Instagram. It's a different different platform than Facebook. So how do you all get going on Instagram? So I'll share some of my tips for you there. And then this one thing that is amazing that you can do to amp up your geofarming. If you are currently geofarming, we'll talk about that and one tip that I have for you that can make all the difference. And then the one thing you might be overlooking in your Google business profile, all of you should have one. If you don't, highly recommend setting that up. I can give you some tips on that as well. And then 3 behaviors that might be possibly holding you back. As always, I like to include a section on mindsets for success and then recommended reading for the month. All right, expectations for today's masterclass are that you maintain a growth mindset, be open to making results-based changes that will grow your business. Again, this masterclass series is for people who want to grow on social media. Um, I always say there's 3 pools of people. One pool who are the extroverts who are super social on social media, have no problem putting their stuff, self out there. The introverts who are sort of just, observing, and those people that want to grow but don't really know how to do it. So if you're really any of those people, this class is for you, but mostly the people that want to grow on social. The second expectation is to take notes and interact by asking questions. And if you are watching a recording of this class, please don't hesitate to send any questions through to Happy Agent. I'm glad to address them after the fact. And then also to challenge yourself to develop your own social media success strategy. Super important. All right. One thing to consider, I like to always break up these slides with mindset thoughts, and that is if you're not taking the time to be front and center with your connections on social media, you're creating the opportunity for someone else to do it. So important to remember. I always say this, that social media should be thought of as a room full of people that you have connected with. You wouldn't just walk in and stand against the wall and not engage with any of those people. So something to consider. All right. Let's get into 5 video ideas to win more listings. As I said earlier, I don't think anyone would complain about having more listing business. The first thing is really the one of the most basics is to showcase your listings already. So whenever you have a listing, think of it as like this mega golden opportunity to showcase your work. You're silently being interviewed every time you post a listing, a rental, a home that's for sale, a condo for sale, an investment opportunity. And I always say, make sure, regardless of the property's condition, make sure that you're showcasing it in its best possible light, whatever it is. It's interesting though, because I see a lot of agents using professional photography, doing all the right things, but the pictures will, like, for instance, show in the kitchen a dirty dish towel on the range or on the counter, or something was overlooked. I would say if you are investing in professional photography, which you should be, um, take time to really assess the rooms, the spaces before the photographer captures them. Because again, just because you're offering the professional photography and maybe you have sent over a checklist to the seller of what to do to prepare, don't hesitate to say, can we remove that dish towel? Can we straighten up those pillows? Can we open up those blinds? I'm not sure that photo on the wall will showcase best online. Let's take it down. So don't don't not make recommend I know that's a double negative. Make recommendations before the photographer takes the pictures. I used to actually do a walkthrough the night before the I was going to meet the photographer to make sure that the property had every, was show ready, with the exception of maybe a few small things that the seller could easily do the morning of. That way I was confident if anything needed to be done, it was done. So just because you're hiring a photographer, take that extra step is what I would say. Make sure that the home does truly show in its best light. All right, another thing that you can do to get more listings is market updates. We do provide these to you. You can send over your requests to Happy Agent, but these market updates will show the average days on market, new listings, sold listings, whether it's an increase or decrease, etc. So this type of information is valuable because what it does is showcase you as a local expert. You can also do these by video. You don't have to do them by using the graphic if you prefer um, to do them on video. Absolutely go for it. But I do believe that providing monthly market updates is important to showcase you as a local expert. Another uh, idea for getting more listings on social media is doing neighborhood spotlight tours. Now, this is great when it's a new construction and it's a neighborhood that's being built, but also any neighborhood that is picturesque. I think even lovely townhouse or condo communities are a good idea. um, what do you love about these areas? What are the special amenities that they should know about? This is a great idea for showcasing you as the local expert, not only to get buyers, to show them, but also for listings. Again, people want to do business with people that they know the area. I know I'm using too many words that are similar, but anyway, you get my point. All right. Open house previews is another great way to showcase yourself on social media to get more listings. These videos tell sellers that you go above and beyond to market your listings. So as you are preparing for your listing, get in there early so that you can record a video of the home before anybody enters it. Don't put your signs out just yet unless you want to capture them in the video. Excuse me, make a teaser video to encourage people to stop by. What is a teaser video? So a teaser video is not showcasing the whole house on social media. That's another mistake that I think I see a lot of agents make is they're putting all the information out there on social media, creating really no reason for people to reach out. So really, when you think about, what is it that causes people to reach out? They're either inspired, encouraged, or they have questions. And so one of those things is not giving people all the answers. If they can see, everything online, why bother to stop in? So I like the teaser video idea. I also don't like I mean, I don't really even feel like it's necessary to photograph every single room in the house, only those that show incredibly well, and then put the rest in a listing description to say, contact us to learn more or to see more or contact your agent. I mean, I know we can't solicit business sort of in the public remarks, but just, keep that in mind. So also take videos of the busy open house. This, what this does is show people how successful you are at marketing your open house. How many people even knew about that open house? So this is again that another one of those silent interviews that that people are taking your stuff in. And then also a post thanking everybody for coming by. What an amazing open house today we had at 123 Main Street. It gets people excited. Another one is your client testimonials. I think, but here's the thing. I do see agents posting their client testimonials and, with a very short blurb. So happy I could help these great people. Let me just say this. Again, social media is about telling a story. You have an opportunity to paint a picture. I would do so much more than that. I would really recap the journey. I would recommend doing it on video and then also, letting you, sharing how grateful you are to have helped them, and then give a background. Just say, I first met this couple 6 months ago. We started the journey initially when they reached out. They were referred by, Jack and Jill Smith. I reached out, we set up a consultation, and found out they weren't ready to buy yet. They had some things to work on. Luckily, they got all that stuff resolved, and really paint the picture, because no one's journey is so perfect. It takes a lot of effort sometimes to get to that closing table. So painting the journey is part of you being super authentic. So definitely recommend doing that. Another thing that you can do, which would be a home run, is to ask your clients if they would be willing to record a video testimonial for you from the closing table. And then also post that video testimonial on your Google business profile. They do also have to type a few words and provide a star rating, but including that video testimonial, I think would be pretty epic. And then also repurpose your old reviews, even if it's been a year later, especially if it's been a year later at the home anniversary, whatever you want to call it. Share the journey again, right? So I think we don't, I think client testimonies tends to be a one and done. And I don't know that it should be. I think it should be something that you continuously share, maybe on each year's anniversary of their purchase or sale. But don't be shy about sharing that, and paint the picture, tell the story. Another mindset moment is to change your mindset from I have to I get to. So just a little quick story on this. I force myself into this mindset constantly because I have been challenging myself, to make sure that I exercise first thing in the morning. And let me just say this, I go through a mental series of every justification, and it's quick. Those thoughts are quick, but I don't feel like it. I don't have enough time. I do da 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 da. And so I have forced myself to set my alarm earlier so that I've created a no excuse, option for myself. And I immediately switched my mindset into one of gratitude. The fact that I have a newer treadmill that I can use, and that I have the space for it, and that I have a healthy body that can get on it. You know what I mean? These are the things that we have to. So changing your mindset from I have to I get to really is a game changer. And in doing that, I always get on the treadmill. All right. Let's talk about the worst and best Instagram bios for growing your real estate business. And I'm sure you see them too, but I see them constantly, and it's not helpful. So again, being someone who wants to grow your business on social media, definitely take a photo of some of these upcoming screens here. The worst bios. And again, this is not your personal bio. This is your professional page where you're sharing real estate content. So worst bios are, this is just an example. Dog mom, wine lover, grateful 24/7, love closing days. So right there, that does not give you any call to action. There's no link to a website or a link tree or anything like that. There's no mention of the areas. There's not even really that this person is a realtor. And then again, why should someone follow you unless they know you personally? So not a good bio. Let's get into some good suggestions for a bio. The best bios are centered solely on your audience, why someone should continue the connection or hit that subscribe or follow. And so some tips for you. First of all, make sure that your first name and industry related keywords are in the name section of your bio. One of the cool things on Instagram is that you can create a unique name. So once you've determined your handle, like Mark Smith Realtor, the name that you give yourself can be different from that. So make sure that though it's something that people would recognize you. as a professional. Because people want to know your name. They do want to know who they're following. So I think that's important. And then also you're more likely to show up in search results with industry related keywords. So for example, use like Renee Tompkins, Mass Realtor. Um, the first line of your bio section needs to tell people the results and benefits they will get from following you. The second line can be either, or it can be another example of benefits and or results that they can expect. And then showcase your expertise with your years of experience and how many people you've helped in the industry. Now, if you're a newer agent, I would simply just be speaking about your commitment to helping your clients achieve their home goals. You're all inness. You're 100%, full-time, fully dedicated. Um, Also, add a call to action telling them how to get in touch with you. Incorporate links to your website, your link tree, your YouTube, whatever. I would highly recommend the link tree though. And I always say this, it's free. Mine, the version I use is completely free. And I have all kinds of links on there and divided up into sections. So it's easy to follow. So here's an example of a really good bio. Tom Smith, Mass Realtor, helping mass buyers and sellers achieve their goals. Award-winning realtor at Lair Realty for 10 plus years, making a move. Let's connect. Short and sweet. So take a picture of that because that's pretty much a spot on um, bio. My bio is a little different than that. I actually flipped the first two around, but people are pretty clear on where I work, who I help, and what's in it for them to do business with me. All right. So again, keep in mind all that dog mom, wine lover, and I'm passionate person stuff really should be revealed in your content. That's the kind of stuff that you're going to share. And when I say to you that I don't want all of your content to be real estate related, I 100% mean that, but not in your bio. Your bio, only if there's room in your bio should you be adding stuff like, Taco Tuesday fanatic or, whatever. I'm just saying anything that you love, garden lover, book fanatic, whatever. But typically on Instagram, there's really not that much space in your bio. Um, they do limit it to 150 characters. I wish they didn't, but they do. So again, make it about your followers. All right, mindset moment is you. This is so impactful. I had to include this because I feel like so many people get off track. They give up. So hear this. You don't get results by focusing on results. You get results by focusing on the habits and behaviors that bring the results. And I say this because I want to be upfront with you. A lot of you have gotten off track with social media in terms of posting regularly about what's happening in real estate and then also family. And I know there's a lot going on in our world, and some of you may have felt drained or negatively impacted for some reason on social media. And another tip I would say to you is take time to customize your feeds or unfollow anybody that may be a negative trigger for you. Another thing that I always say is why give anybody the power to get you off track like that? So get back on track with your real estate goals. Certainly, you can schedule a session with me about some brainstorming, some suggestions, but most of the ideas I do cover in these master classes are there for you. All right, let's talk about 10 perfect posts for starting your Instagram. This is awesome. If you are brand new to Instagram, I would say start with a personal post about you, your life, maybe a picture of you and your family, or if you're building a new house or whatever. Um, Show your audience the face behind the account and let them know a few things about you. Um, you know, I will say most 95% of people who meet someone online in terms of like looking for a professional, whether it's a realtor or some other, um, usually they'll base the decision off of credentials and off of past reviews, but also off of the person themselves. So if anybody that's searching for you on social media is really looking to get a vibe of who you are. Um, Otherwise, they're just going to go to your Google business profile, look up reviews, and contact. But if people are searching for you on social, it's because they want to get a real feel for who you are. Another idea is to make an intro post. So talk about the areas you cover and any specialties that you have. Highlight why someone should do business with you and end it with a call to action. But also pin these three suggestions, or pin some of, you can only pin three on your Instagram, and I think just one on Facebook. But pin the most important one. I would say the introduction is the most important, and then follow it with who you are. And then also an entertaining reel is a fun idea to create, um, something that showcases you and your personality. Make it fun, light, super informative, but goofy. And, if that's you, if that's not you, obviously don't do it. But I like this idea a lot. And then provide something of value. So as I said, each month now you're getting your layer social media pieces. I just finalized the email for July, and it's jam-packed with good stuff. And the reason why we're providing about two pieces per week is because we want to leave room on your social media for your personal posts, for your video posts. And really, you should be posting more than once a day. Um, and I think a lot of you don't have that issue on your personal Facebook page, but on your Instagram business or even Facebook business, you might be struggling with that. So, again, mix it up. Don't just share everything about real estate. But in regards to real estate, if you're going to be, when you're sharing stuff on real estate, make it something of value. And then everybody likes mindset posts. There's nobody that doesn't like good vibes. And there's plenty of that. If you look around, there's plenty of mindset pages and all kinds of good stuff to be shared. So, um, also recommend sharing a detailed breakdown of how you became the problem solver for your client, an epic problem solver. So something that came up, for instance, maybe the home didn't appraise. Um, and you negotiated a lower price for your buyers, or maybe you're the list agent and the home didn't appraise, but because you insisted on an appraisal gap coverage in the offer, you just saved your clients a heartache or headache of whatever the gap was. So I think, really dig deep with yourself and say, okay, how was I the problem solver there? And think about all the various ways that we solve problems as agents. Um, and then also another content suggestion would be to talk about how you can help. Not all, not if you haven't been that problem solver, if you're a newer agent, talk about how you did help, or how you can help rather, the things that you can do to help your clients. Um, all right. So let's talk about client journeys is another, I think, a great way to capture the true essence of a transaction. It really is. Where even if your clients aren't comfortable being on camera, but if they are, hello, this is a great opportunity to really give an authentic spin to really how it is. Um, if you are just starting to work with, say, in this case, I'm going to use buyers as an example. You might have a first-time home buyer couple that's super excited and just say, I wanted to ask you, I'm going to be starting a new buyer journey series on social media. Could we maybe take just a few clips and a few clips along the process? Maybe I'll do a lot of photos of the process from starting today through closing. Would you be open to that? And, if they are, oh my gosh, what a gift they have given you. So they don't always have to be talking on video, but maybe they are sometimes, and a lot of it's pictures, pictures of them at the consultation, maybe a quick, we're so excited to be working with our new realtor. She was referred by so and so, and we just had a great consultation, so we're psyched about the journey, and that's it, right? Maybe take a few pictures of how you set up the conference room, and then take all the pictures of the homes you've showed them, and then how excited, but here's the thing with the accepted offer, make sure you sharing that after the accepted offer. Because what I always say is you don't want to put things out on social media that could lessen your client's chances of getting the offer accepted. There are agents who, in the process of receiving offers, might scope out people on social media. So you don't want to be putting anything out there that might, you know, weaken or, anything. So, all right. And then the inspection, this is a great opportunity to, and I know a lot of inspectors will say, don't get me on film or anything, but maybe you're just checking into the town and you get a picture of the house and the buyers in front of the house. And again, this is for the video at the end, the journey, the PNS signing, the final walkthrough, the close, all of it. And so even for sellers, the initial consult, and I think a huge thing that you guys need to start doing is before and after photos of the home, before it looked, how it looked before, and how it showcased after with professional photography, decluttered, especially if some work was done in order to get that home ready. So all of it. These are just the various different things. And when I say testimonial, I'm really hoping that the clients will do a testimonial on video, and also on Google, on Zillow, etc. So client journeys are huge. Another a suggestion is small business shout outs. This is a great way to bring your brand awareness to local business owners while helping them grow their business in the process. So how you would do that is check into their business when you're out and about. Share photos of your experience. Just say, oh my gosh, what a cute boutique this was, or whatever. Follow them on social, recommend them on social, write a Google review, um, interview them. You can, just say, hey, everybody, and obviously they're agreeable to this. If they're not, then don't do it. Make sure you're adding them as a collaborator in your post so that when you post it, it says, Renee Tompkins, uh, and, whoever the other business is. So that post will show up on their page too, getting you more engagement. And then here's the thing that I think a lot of agents miss out is they're doing all that, or maybe some of it, but then add them to your Popeye list and put them in your CRM. These people are now part of what I would call the small business sphere, right? Where you want to invite them to co-host events or take part in events or just join, come stop by our event. And because they're going to start watch, and they will most likely start to invite you to their events. Um, I think this is a great way because when you think of, how many people the average business owner knows, that's a lot of people. And so you want to definitely be developing relationships with local small business owners, I'm telling you. But don't stop, at the check-in. I wrote the review, I stop in, I collaborated. You got to add them to your Popeye list, your CRM, you got to invite them to events and invite them to coffee. We've done that several times here and it's been a great success. So I would highly recommend doing that. Another thing is previews. Um, if you're a newer agent, this is 100% something that you need to be doing. And even if you're not a new agent, but your business has really slowed up, I would be out there showcasing home of the week, maybe two homes of the week. And obviously the list agent you need to give them permission. And typically if it's outside of your brokerage, or even in your brokerage, but you're not the list agent, you want to be saying who the list agent is at the very end. But definitely be showcasing previews, properties of the week, two properties of the week. Again, doing this gives you professional credibility and market knowledge. And again, it's a teaser. So please do not show the whole house. Please do not have your high heels clomping up the stairs and going in at every single room. Stop doing that. You are standing in front of the house. You're going to introduce yourself. You're going to give a verbal summary of the house, quick. Renee Tompkins with Lair Realty Partners. I'm here today at 123 Main Street in Tewksbury. I want to show you this beautiful house as part of my weekly preview. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch that is waiting for its new owners to call it home. Let's check it out. And then you go in, you do a quick pan of the living room, the kitchen, and maybe one other small area, and then wrap it up. Just say, to see the rest of the house, I'd love to schedule a time to connect. Send me a message. Let's get a tour scheduled. So quick and easy, and then go off to your other preview. Just like we say, batch record your video content is a strategy for saving time where you don't have to like doll up 5 days a week because you want to get out 5 videos. Batch record them, say, on Saturday morning before your house wakes up. You should be previewing in batches too, but saving them and scattering them on your social throughout the week. Another thing is open houses. Just post a list of open houses with a call to action to reach out for private showings. Again, this says I'm in the know of what's happening. But here's another one that I didn't even put in here is if you are aware of a coming soon listing, keep in mind the CSO status in MLS PIN does not feed out to the public. It is for agents only. So you want to definitely be posting. Just say, we have, or my office has a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch in Reading coming on the market. It's in a, you could give a price range or maybe even not. I mean, I would really want more people to reach out to you and ask questions. So that you can be, again, that knowledge broker. Don't ever give out the address until it's live. And then I would just say, let's make an appointment to go see it. All right, a mindset moment here is the growth you are seeking is in the work you are avoiding. 100%. Every time we make excuses or rationale for why we're not doing something, it's too hot, I don't have the time, I don't have the money. One of the things I always look back and I always say, one of the things the pandemic taught us was getting something done, but in a very different way. How can we still get this done, but in a hugely different way? So start to think outside the box and call yourself out every single time you know you're justifying something or you're making an excuse for inaction. Immediately call yourself out on it and say, okay, because that's where real growth is. If you're not doing that, then you're not growing. You're giving into stagnancy. Okay, that's my mindset speech for a second there. Do this one thing to amp up your geo farming. I know a lot of us are geo farming and it's not cheap. And we can certainly minimize that expense by having a sort of a co-sponsor on our mailings. Like if you want a lender to co-sponsor your mailings, they can contribute up to half the cost. So that's certainly a way. Every door direct mail is another way to reduce that cost, but still ultimately there are costs associated. And there is one thing that you can do to amp that up and get more bang for your buck. But yes, it is advertising on social media in the areas where you're geofarming, because the idea on this is that you want people seeing you everywhere. You want people to, when they think of real estate, they're thinking Renee Tompkins, they're thinking Amy Smith. You know what I'm saying? They're thinking, yeah, let's go. Let's call so-and-so. So if you're investing in geofarm mailing, it does take about 18 to 24 months before you start to see a return. Tom Ferry had sent out, I want to say maybe 6 months ago, I don't even know, a report from a woman who, I think she was in Connecticut. She could have been in California. I don't know, but she was in a very high price point. I will say her average price point was like 2.5 million. And, but she grew primarily by way of geo farming. But she said right up front, if you cannot do this without making zero money from it for about 18 to 24 months, then she recommended not even starting because that was her. And that was honestly my experience too, although I probably got maybe one or two within the first year. I'm sure I did. But I amped up my geo farming as I started to make more money. So my initial geo farm was 300 homes. I branched out to 500 homes once I started having closings, and then I branched out to 750, and then I branched out to 1,000. Ultimately, I was doing 1,600 pieces every other week, but at that point, I had a lender kicking in. So these, but I will say, yes, I was definitely making out very well for my geo farms on the list side as well as the buy side. Because again, most people that you're listing, you're also helping them with a buy. Um, but take the time to also advertise on social media in the areas because where are people hanging out, right? They're hanging out on social. But if you're going to have a credit card on file, definitely protect your account by using the double factor authentication or getting Meta verified. We talked about this in several master classes on how to do that. It's very easy. You can Google it and they'll walk you through it, but definitely take the time to do that if you're going to, especially if you're going to have a credit card on file. You should have your account double factor authenticated regardless. Everybody should have at least that level of security. Everything is so in alignment today, I feel like. This other quote, the hard part is rarely the task itself, it's your thoughts about it. Again, I catch myself constantly with the, and I relate this to the treadmill because this is where my, once I'm out there, I'm fine. It's just getting out there. And huge. And that's why you have to be super aware. The key is awareness. Once you are aware of where your mindset has gone, then you can work to get it shifted back to where it needs to be. But I always say, don't go through a long process of labeling or judging. Just get back on track. We're all human. All right, the one thing you might be overlooking on your Google business profile, and I think so many agents don't do this. We set it up so we're asking for reviews, which is 100% of what we should be doing, yes. But it's also helpful to post on your Google business profile. So these social media pieces that you're getting, you should be sharing on your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your threads, as well as you can even share them on YouTube under posts. And I mean, these are graphics, these are not videos, but you can share them on these platforms. And one of them is Google Business Profile. So go to your Google Business Profile. You're accessing this through your Layer email, which is Gmail based. So when you're in any Gmail, this is your Gmail suite, your app suite. In the top right-hand corner of your Layer email are 9 dots. That is your key to your G Suite apps. You won't see the Google Business Profile until you have set it up. This will not be on your apps until you have activated it. Once you have activated it, which is a whole process in itself, we did a past masterclass on that. And also Stacy and Johnny Fallon did a class on it as well too. But that's how you access it once you've set it up. And then once you're in the dashboard, to the right here, this is what your dashboard looks like once once your Google Business Profile has been set up. One of the options is add an update. And so that is where you can literally add a photo, add your copy and paste drop and drag your photos or videos, add your description, and then post it up. Why should you do this on Google? Really, it keeps your profile active and people are engaging with it. When customers have more access to your business and updates, you will remain top of mind and you'll be easier to reach. So definitely don't overlook your Google Business Profile as a platform for also sharing these updates. So super important. Let's talk about 3 behaviors that might be holding you back. One is chasing leads rather than building relationships. And I think the whole premise of the 7 levels of communication, which Stacy hosted with Michael Mayer, was all about relationships, right? Why are we chasing leads and, people that aren't really valuing our time and giving us the time of day when we could be spending this time building relationships with the people we know or the people they're referring to us. I think that's epic. Waiting for the perfect moment before taking action. This goes back to progress over perfection. I think so many of us, we record videos and we're like, oh, I hate the way I look. I hate the way I sound. So whatever happens to those videos, right? And so that's where you have to call yourself out, and it starts with awareness. You have to be like, you know what? I'm going for perfectionism right now, and it's going to hold me back. Are any of us perfect? Right? And first of all, perfect is an opinion. It's not a definition. It's an opinion. It's an opinion of somebody, somebody's opinion of a situation or a person or a thing. And then lastly, focusing on vanity metrics, especially on social media, rather than committing to the process. And this goes back to what I said earlier about a lot of us are off track on social because we might say, well, it's not getting us any business, right? Or it's not doing anything for me. Well, first off, let me just back up and just say this. First of all, every time you post something on social media, on your business pages, whether it be real estate or personal, you are contributing to the growth of your business. So right there, you are propelling your business forward, right? And so many of us set these expectations when it comes to doing anything. We'll say, well, sure, something new. I'll try it for 6 months, a year, whatever it is. Um, and we'll see how it goes. By doing that, you're giving yourself the out because guess what? In 6 months or a year, you've already sort of manifested this lack energy, and you're going to be getting that right back. Remember that universe doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. So if you are expecting to not have this happen, then guess what? It's not going to happen. The correct energy and the correct mindset would be, hell yeah, I'm posting, I'm going to do what I got to do, and I'm going to vibe with my own energy. I'm unique, I'm me, I'm putting my stuff out there, and I'm building my audience. About a year ago, I think not even a year ago, I want to say it was around January. So what are we? We're not even in, next week's July. So 6 months ago. I was at around 780 followers on Instagram, but I wasn't really aggressively growing it. And I realized I'm like, I got to go after this just like any component of growing a business. I got to commit to it. And today I'm at, I want to say close to 1600 and a half, maybe close to 1700. And it's taking a while. I will say it certainly does take a while to grow, but it's happening. It is happening. And the minute I made the shift, it was because I made the decision to go all in with it. And I've shared with you who I add, why I add them, and how it makes a difference. In past classes, I'll go through them again in upcoming classes, but just keep in mind, it really does come down to making a decision. And this is a Tony Robbins quote, everything happens at the moment of decision, and it's 100% fact. Once you decide, you cannot help but succeed, even though you should never attach expectations as to how and when that will play out. Just simply trust. And I know a lot of you will say, oh, really? I don't have the luxury to do that. And it's not about, I'm not talking about spending money. I'm talking about a mental mindset. That's what I'm talking about. Um, Jim Carrey also says something funny. He says, you can't manifest and then go eat a sandwich and then expect something, something like that. I think that's pretty spot on, though. You got to do the work. And again, don't keep attaching the results to the work. Just dive in with it and trust and love it. It'll happen. All right, we're ready to wrap up. I want to go through some mindsets for success today. Everything starts and stops in the mind, and it's 100% fact. Everything. Huge there. The most important conversations we'll ever have are the ones we have with ourselves, correct? Because it's this inner voice that I call her Vera, because she's always trying to veer me off track. But I'm aware, super aware of her, and I am on it. Um, Here's one that I love by Alex L. I spelled her name wrong, but it's Alex L. And it's the sun will rise and set regardless. What we choose to do with the light while it's here is up to us. Journey wisely. Commitment is doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Yes. And it's very hard to show up as the person you want to be when you are surrounded by an environment that makes you feel like the person you aren't. And so this goes back to social media. Again, if social media has got you way down lately, or the vibe is just way off for you, you can take your power back by customizing your feed and unfollowing certain people. I've done it. Come on, let's get back to doing what we know works in our business. The last one here is, are you following your dreams, or are you too worried about being judged by the people who are afraid to follow theirs? Hello. That's pretty powerful. And that was a whole theme in the Let Them book by Mel Robbins. She went on about, she talked to Oprah when she was announcing her book, and Oprah had her on, and she was talking about how foolish she ended up feeling because she would give people so much power in her life. She was growing her business, and she would rarely post about it on social media at first for fear of what people thought about her. And once she realized the power she was handing over to these people, she did a 180. Obviously, as you know, she's a queen on social media now. She's got so many millions of followers. But it's because she owned it. But before that, it was because she was aware. All right, I have my, oh, where is it? I have my, oh, here it is. The Purple Cow book. This book is all about doing out of the box, authentic, owning you, being remarkable. A quote by the author, Seth Godin, says that as consumers, we're too busy to pay attention to advertising, but we're desperate to find good stuff that solves our problems. So this is a quick read. Look how small it is. Get it on Amazon. Actually, it's not in publication anymore. So either on Amazon or through like thrift books or something, or used bookstore, but check that out. And if you're looking for social media inspo, let's connect. Always looking to connect. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Pinterest. I'm all over. At the Real Renee Tompkins. As you can tell, my branding is consistent throughout all of my networks, all of my channels. I recommend doing that as well too. Some of you have different branding on different, change that, get that all in alignment. Um, the next masterclass I look forward to seeing you on is Tuesday, the 29th at 12:30. Join me for another jam-packed session. Have a great July. Next week. I can't believe that it's here already, but have a great month, and I'll see you next month. Thanks for watching.